constructor usage, constructor overloading, IIB, SIB.
Correct.
These are the parts we have covered last class, right?
Yeah.
I hope you are recording the session, right?
Yes. Yes. Starting.
Fine. So today we are going to see the next topic, that is inheritance. So whatever folder I have shared with you, you will find one subfolder inside that with the name of inheritance.
Okay.
Before going to inheritance, just let me ask you one question.
Yeah.
I have one class A here.
Okay.
Inside this class, I have int I equal to 10
Mm-hmm.
and one method with the name of test method,
Mm-hmm.
and this class is closed here. If I ask you whether this program will compile or not, then what you will tell? Yes or no? This program will compile?
Yeah. It should compile.
It should compile. Of course it will compile. Why? Because compilation purpose, even you have an empty class also, that is also highly sufficient. This program will also compile.
That's true.
Compiler is always checking whether your program is syntactically correct or not. Our program is syntactically correct. There will be no problem with this program, and this program will compile successfully. Yes or no?
Yes.
Whether this program can run?
No, nothing is there to run for it. I mean, method is. No, I mean, it's a void method. Nothing is returning from it.
Okay, I'm going to print like this way. Now tell me. System.out.println. Consider this system.out.println, and this is semicolon.
If it's a main method is there, but how it is being called?
Where is the main
Main.
method?
Yeah.
There is no main method.
Yeah. If the main method, then
Last class I told you without main method it is not possible to run any Java program, right?
correct.
So it can compile, but it will be not running anymore.
That's true.
Fine. So let me create another class B. In this class I have given public static void main, consider a string argument. I'm creating the object of this class B here, new B. And what I'm going to do, system.out.println b1.I and b1.test method, main method closed, class closed. Make sure that there is no relationship between the A class and B class.
Mm-hmm.
Considering this public static void main string argument, considering this as a system.out.println.
Mm-hmm.
Now could you please tell me whether this program will compile successfully or not?
Uh, there's not sure. I mean, compilation. No, but there's no relationship between A and B. So how will you call I here? So there's
Yes,
no.
exactly. So it will never compile, right?
Yeah.
You will
That's
get two compile time error, one for I, another for test method.
correct.
Compiler will simply ask you where is the I declared inside your class and where is the test method defined inside your class. Since both are not there, then if you can't declared or you can't define the method, you should not allow to use that, right? This is the
Correct.
basic rule of any programming language. So of course you will get a compile time error here. Now what B class is saying to the compiler, I want to access the member of this A class. Then compiler is saying, how can I come to know? For that purpose, this B class have to write like this way. What you have to write?
Extends.
Extends A.
Okay.
Once you will write extends A, then automatically compile time error will be reduced or removed, and the compilation will be success. Even if you run this program, you will get output also I value, that is 10, and test.
Okay.
And this is inheritance. This is inheritance. So how we are defining inheritance? Accessing the properties of one class into another class is known as inheritance.
Okay.
Even though we don't have I and test method inside my B class, but with the help of B class object, we are successfully able to read the member of A class. Got it?
Okay.
So extends is the keyword you have to remember. With the help of extends keyword only you can go for that. Further going for the description, whoever class you are extending, that class is known as superclass or parent class or primary class. All are same. You can call the A class here super, parent or primary class. Whoever class is extending the another class, that class is known as child class or subclass or derived class. Got it?
Yeah.
Same example is here also. And this is the example of your inheritance.
Okay.
Fine. Any doubt? Let's see by the coding and we'll run that program also. But for theoretical point of view, I'm just explaining you.
Okay.
Fine.
Yeah.
Now coming to the type of inheritance, basically in Java we have only 3 types of inheritance: single level, multi-level and hierarchical. What is this single level, multi-level, hierarchical? Let's understand it. In this case, we have one superclass, that is A, and another child class here we have, that is B, right?
Yeah.
B class is extending with the A class, so arrow mark should go like this.
Okay.
So whenever you have one superclass, one child class, then it is known as single level inheritance. Okay. So the example which I have shown you currently, that is a example of single level inheritance.
Okay.
All properties of A class can be accessed by the B class like this. All will come to the B class. If you make one more class like this way, let's say we have a C class and that C class is extending with the B class, then it will be now more than one superclass. So it should be C.
C here. Okay.
Now we have a more than one child class and more than one superclass. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So the C class can access the A class properties also and B class.
B class. Okay.
So whoever is the childmost class, they have a privilege to access the all members of their all superclasses. Got it?
Okay.
And whenever you have this one, then it is known as a multi-level inheritance. Fine?
Okay.
Now, what is hierarchical? Hierarchical is having one superclass, let's say A, and more than one child class.
Okay.
B.
Okay. C. Okay.
And C. B class is also extending with the A class, and C class is also extending with the A class. Whenever one single class is going to be accessed or inherited by more than one child class, then it is known as hierarchical. So only we have 3 types of inheritance in Java. But coming to C++, then we have 2 more inheritance, that is multiple and hybrid. Multiple and hybrid is not allowed in Java because there is some drawback. I will tell you what is the reason behind why multiple inheritance is not in Java.
Okay.
This question is very, very important also. Many times this is asked by the interviewer, what do you mean by multiple inheritance and why it is not available in Java. So try to understand what is the problem with this multiple inheritance.
Okay.
What multiple inheritance is saying, we have a 2 superclass and 1 child class. Consider the same example. Don't focus this part. Ignore this part.
Okay.
Consider from B to C. Okay.
Okay.
assume inside the B class we have one test method called, or any method called T method. Fine. Inside the C class also we have a same method with the name of T. I suppose to write test, but consider this is a T method. You can give any name to the method.
Okay.
So in B class also we have a T method, and in C class also we have a T method. We can have, because there is no relationship between the B and C. Both are independent class. Now what D class did, they have accessed the B class properties also and C class properties also.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Now how many T method has came to this D class?
2.
2.
Okay.
Now assume you have created the D class object D1, and with the help of D1 you are calling the T method. Then compiler is confused here. It's asking you, you have a 2T method inside your class. Which T method you are trying to call? Yes or no? Because both of their superclass is holding the T method. Since it is extending with the both of the class, so 2T method has came to this D class. And if you are trying to call the D object with the help of D object, then definitely here compiler will be confused, because you have a 2 copy of T method inside your child class.
Mm-hmm.
Getting the point or not?
Okay. If the methods are different?
Yes. So if methods are different, then it will not a problem. So you want to say ki why they didn't consider this, right?
Yeah.
If method is different, then problem is not there. But who will give me guarantee user will not give the same method to the both class?
Okay.
You are saying one options are there, right?
That's true.
But you can't restrict your user ki don't give the similar method. There is no control in the development. Let's say we are working in the both project, different module of the project.
Mm-hmm.
You have a B class, you are working on B, and I'm working on C, and there is a third party who is working on D.
Okay.
I'm not always going to ask you ki Mr. Sudhindra, are you using the T method? And you are never going to ask me, Mr. Niket, you are using the T. So we are not always going to communicate.
Correct.
What will be if both are using the T method or test method, and the third party need to access your class also and my class also? There will be problem or not?
Correct.
So always you have to think the all possibilities, and that's what the Java people also thought. They thought there is no another way by which we can restrict the user. So they made one rule itself. You can't extend one class more than one, either B or either C. You can't inherit more than one class to a single class.
Okay.
Getting the point?
Okay, multiple is there, multi-level is there. Okay.
Yes, multi-level is there, multiple is not there. Take one another example. Let's think the person who have developed the ATM machine,
Mm-hmm.
ATM machine software. Many possibilities are there. They have to consider the all scenario, like what will be if user has swapped the card and suddenly server goes off. What will be if user has given the amount and machine was about to process, suddenly the line goes off. So these are the possibilities, and whenever you are developing any program, any software, you need to consider these all things. If they didn't consider this scenario, then what will be? Either bank will be a loser or either customer will be a loser.
Correct.
So always here, whatever you told, that is correct. If methods name are different, then there is no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But who will give me the guarantee that always the method name will be different?
Okay.
You can give anything. That is the reason they given the one rule itself. You can't extend one class more than one class. Got
Okay.
it?
Got it. Yeah.
Fine. Now you might be asked this question, Niket, you are saying in C++ it is there, then how C++ is handling this situation? And definitely, if interviewer is clever like me, then definitely they will ask you this question, how C++ is handling.
Yeah.
So at least you should know C++ is handling having one keyword, and that keyword name is a virtual.
Mm-hmm.
this is the keyword which is handling this scenario, but still it is not giving performance. So Java people has removed this keyword also. We don't have this virtual keyword. What actually this virtual keyword is saying, if you have extended this B and this T method has came to the D class, then it will not allow this C to also send their copy of method into the D class.
Oh.
So always it is checking whether the already this method is available inside the D class or child class, then it will not allow the another super class to send their own copy. Got it? That's a different case. Anyhow, we are not going to learn C++, and it's not required much more to know about this because not a single project is going to work now on C++.
Okay.
We are in Java session. You should know how multiple inheritance is having drawback and why it's not there, what was the problem, and what is the alternative option for this. Of course, we can't stop this. We need to access these types of features also, and to access this, we have in Java similar concept with the name of interface that you are going to learn very soon.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So multiple inheritance is replaced by the interface option.
Okay.
So you are clear with the inheritance concept as well as the all ideas, I mean types of inheritance. Any doubt?
No, so far no.
Okay. Now open the same program. The coding perspective will see. Just like the same program, I have created the a.java where you can see two non-static member int I equal to 10 and void test method, right?
Correct.
As you can see, compilation is success. There is no compile time error, and if you run this program, you will get a simple message. There is no main method. You can't run this program.
Correct.
Simply. Come to the b.java. If I'm not extending this a class here, you will get a error as expected. There is no I. There is no test method. Since you have only test1 method, compiler is saying you can call only your test1 method, not the I and test. Why? Because these two are not available in the B class.
Correct.
I told you, if you want to access the inheritance features, then what you need to write?
Extends.
Here you have to write
Extends.
extends keyword, right?
Yeah.
In Eclipse, if you want to write extends, then press EX and control space bar.
Okay.
If you press control space, then automatically it will create the complete and write that super class, whichever properties you want to access. Now your error is gone, and even if you run this program, you will see the output 10, test, and test1.
Okay.
These two output are coming from
Main method.
A class. Yes or no? I is 10, and test method is having output as the test.
Okay.
Since test1 belongs to the B class, so you are getting the test1 also here.
Okay. So here also hierarchical execution will follow, right? First is the class.
It's a single level.
Okay.
Hierarchical will come once one super class will be accessed by two child class.
Okay.
So if you consider this A and B, we have the single level.
No, I mean the execution.
Execution, I didn't get you.
I mean, once you execute, I mean, the first part will be executed the class called or the main method. Here also, it will be the class first called, right?
Yes, that is always same. It is
Okay.
always start executing from main method from top to bottom.
Okay.
This rule is applicable entire Java session.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yes. So here also first you are creating B class object, then you are painting I, then wherever I is there, first it will check in the same class. If I is not there, then it will check in the super class. If I is there, it will print that I. Again, you are calling the test method, it will search in the same B class where the test method is there. It is not found, then it will go to the super class. If it is found test method, it will execute that test method. Like this way flow is going.
Okay.
Now what I'm going to do, I'm making the multi-label. So for multi-label, what I did, I created one C class, and what I did, C class is extending with the B class. So now see the scene. A class is extended by B and B is extended by C.
C.
So now C class can access the A class member also. These two are belongs from A class, and C class can access B class also because test1 belongs to B class.
B class.
Yes or no?
Correct.
The output will be same, but now it's changed into multi-label inheritance.
Okay. Okay.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are interested, I can make the same program by hierarchical also, by extending simply by C. A class is extended by B also. Sorry, make it as A. So, yeah. So now you can see B class is extending the A and C class is also extending with the A.
Here you are
Yes or no?
Yeah.
This is called hierarchical, but here you are getting one error because compiler is asking you are extending with the A, then you should not allow to access the B class member. That is the reason you are getting error.
Okay.
Yes or no? But it becomes hierarchical. If you remove this line, if you comment this, double slash is the comment in Java. If you comment it, you can see hierarchical is also working. C class is able to access the A class. Even B class is also able to access the A class.
A class.
Got it? But if you are thinking I can go for A and B also, then you can see you are getting error because it becomes now multiple inheritance, and I told you Java is not supporting the
multiple
inheritance. So anyhow, always either A or B, not both.
Both. Okay.
Maximum extendable class is 1.
Okay.
Any doubt?
Okay. So all this time we have seen only class. Even the methods can be used in this concept.
See, we are inheriting on the class level. So definitely whatever members are in the class,
okay,
that all are going to access, no?
Okay.
We can't do method by method. Always, because if you want to use my room resources, I told you, if you remember the class concept, then I told you there is one room, and inside that room there is a lots of resources. Who can access? Who is having the key?
Correct.
Similarly, think that class is a room. If in my room there is a lots of resources like TV, fridge and all. So if I given you the key of my room itself, then is this mandatory to tell you can use fridge, you can use TV?
No.
It depends on you, right? Whatever resources you want, you can use that. Similarly here also, you have extended the A class, so whatever things are in the A class, doesn't matter, it's a method or variable, whatever, you can use that. And that's what the C class is doing. It's using their variable also, it's using their method also.
Okay.
So method level or variable level inheritance is not required because we have given the high level inheritance.
Okay.
But for your understanding, for your answer, we can do only class level inheritance, not the method level or variable level.
Okay. Okay.
Got it?
Okay. See, even if inside a class, if the method is private, we can do that? We can extend?
No, you can't, because private can be used only in the same class.
Okay, but you are extending that class, right?
Yes, extending in the sense, see, everywhere there is a restrictions.
Okay.
Further we will see, there is one more way by which you will not allow your class to be extended. Okay. I don't want my A class to be extended by another class. So there is one keyword by which you can stop that. Similarly, they have thought like that, even though you can access all members but except my private. Okay. So if my guests are coming to my room, then I allow them to use my every resources, fridge, TV, something. But there is something that I don't want that my user, my guest can use, and that is nothing but my personal mobile, right?
Yeah.
I don't want my guest can use my mobile also. If it is a landline, they can. But if it is a personal mobile, even though they came to my room, they can use everything, but something I don't want. Similarly here also. A class wants that everything should be accessed, but whatever private I have with me, that I don't want to use by child class. So that's the reason private came in picture.
Okay.
But if you ask me, can you, then I will tell you yes. I know the way by which I can access the private member of any class also in different class. And that's what the hackers are doing. That is the hacking parts.
Okay.
So don't go too deep. Just concentrate here. Currently, you have to know we can't access the private member.
Okay.
Fine?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's proceed. So that's all about the inheritance. Nothing is there. But from now onwards, every program is having the inheritance features. Now we have a huge discussion over that. So yeah, we'll see. But currently, for your understanding purpose, this much is highly sufficient. What is inheritance and why it's required and how it's working.
Okay.
Okay.
One example.
Parallelly,
Yeah. One real-time example. Can you give? I mean, how it is being used in programmatic or which?
yeah, why not? See, as you know, with the help of inheritance, first point it came in your mind is code optimization. If inheritance is not there and still the C class wants is I and test method, then what you have to do? You have to also write here int I equal to 10, and whatever test method is having in the A class, same test method you have to define here also, right?
Okay.
Like this way, assume you have 100 class and all class wants this I and test method.
Mm-hmm.
So if inheritance is not there, then what you need to do? In 100 class, you have to write the same variable, same method, same variable, same method.
Mm-hmm.
So how many code you are going to write? So
Okay.
first things you got here, code optimization. We are writing one time, and all class I'm allowing them to access the all resources of my class, right? So this is the first point. Now you can ask me where in the real time it's coming in this.
Yeah.
Assume the security plugins like login.
Uh-huh.
Login for every users like CEO, employee, HR, admin, whoever. They all want the security, right?
That's true.
So you can use, just a moment.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So no, let's continue. So what security is required for every layer of user, like even admin or HR or employee or CEO, whoever is there.
Correct.
So first option is that for each layer you have to write a code for security every time. But here we are not going to do that. What we are going to do? We are making one common class, and there we are writing the all security related code, and all layers of user is going to access that. Getting the point?
Okay. Okay.
So many places are there we can, like you can talk about the online shopping. Every product on Flipkart or any Amazon having certain features. What are the features? Every product is having the price, every product is having the quantity, right?
Correct.
Now these are the common for every product. Doesn't matter it's a mobile or whatever you can take, TV, refrigerator, everything. So first is there they can create a product like mobile class, TV class, refrigerator class, right? And in every class they can write the two variable like cost and quantity. Cost and quantity. But that's not make any sense, right? So first what they will do? They will create a separate class with the name of features, class called features or information, and inside that they will write the two variable cost and quantity. And every product will access that class. So definitely all will get the same properties, no? You don't need to require to declare the each properties like this way. And think from the higher level. We don't have only two, we have a many features.
Correct.
So it's not make any sense to have a repeated, but still you can do. But the inheritance came by these features only so that you can access. And this is a very important features of object-oriented programming language, because in fact I told you here we are accessing the properties of one class into another class, but if you go too deeply, then in fact we are not accessing the properties of one class into another class. We are accessing the properties of one object into another object. That will be clear.
Okay.
Don't worry.
Okay.
So that's what the root of object-oriented programming language. Yeah. Still have doubt? Or are you clear?
Yeah, it's quite clear now.
No, you can ask. Don't feel hesitation. If you have something, then you can ask.
No, as of now, nothing. I mean,
We are good so far?
yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So, now another topic is came along with the inheritance is method overriding. So for you have seen method overloading, but we have a method overriding concept also. Okay?
Okay.
Consider this is class A.java. Here we have one simple method with the name of public void test. Fine?
Okay.
So public void test is there. What B class is doing, he is trying to access the inheriting the B class, I mean A class, and easily he can access the A class member. If you run this automatically, it will give you the output from A class, that is test of A.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Now what this B class is saying, no, I don't want to use my super class members. I want to create the same method inside my class also. Because I want the different output. I don't want to get the test of A, I want test of
B or
B,
something.
like this.
Okay.
So whenever you have an exact copy of your superclass method into the child class, then it is known as method overriding. Very simple in one word. Do you remember? Exact copy of superclass method in child class is known as method overriding. But make sure that you have to follow the complete signature of the method. What do you mean by signature? If it is having public in the superclass, then you must have to use public here. If you not use, you will get an error. If there is a one argument, here also you have to give one argument.
Okay.
There is a void, you have to give void here.
Uh-huh.
So method overriding is the exact copy of the superclass method. Fine. Still something you can change, but so far you need to understand only this thing. Key, if there is a public, there is a one argument, there is no argument, everything you have to follow like things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the signature meaning. If someone is asking what is the signature of main method, you have to say complete these things. Public, static, void, main, string, array, argument.
Okay.
These all parts, including the argument and the return type of any method, is considered as the signature of that method.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, can you tell me which method will be called here if I run this program with a A class test or B class test?
You are extending A. A also is getting called.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, it's printing B.
Always local is having more priority.
Okay, that's true. Yeah.
So if B class is already having the test method,
Uh-huh.
then it will not go for a super class.
Okay.
If you run this, you will get test of B, not a test of A.
Yeah.
Got it? So
Okay.
this is method overriding.
Okay.
Yes. So just consider this. If you don't have this method inside the super class, I mean child class, then anyhow it will go to the super class. If child class already having that, then it's never going for the super class.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
It's always with clarity on class.
Okay.
But method overriding is quite complicated. Don't worry, I will be covering this much more clear while covering the polymorphism concept. Okay. That time I will tell you what exactly happening in the memory once you are overriding any method. What happened to the superclass method? Got
Okay.
it?
Yeah.
But need to remember only method can be overridden, not variable.
Oh, okay.
Not variable. Variable cannot be overridden.
Oh.
Only method can be. If you have a int I a dot java there and b int I in b dot java, then make sure that I will be separate for all. Okay, I value will be different for both classes, not for. I mean to say, like, let's say here is one 10, 90, right?
Mm-hmm.
And here is also one
I-90.
Equal to something different.
Okay.
And here if you are going to print b1 dot I, then what will be? That will give you
60. Yeah. Local. Okay.
But there is one concept by which you can see, I think I'm going a bit further topic, still I can solve it.
Yeah.
This is the actual purpose of the inheritance or casting. This is called casting. I will come on that.
Okay.
So in this case, if you write a1 dot test, then this will come from which class? B class, because you are creating the object of
B.
class.
Oh, okay.
And if you write a1 dot I, it will come from A class. I'm commenting this. Let's run this.
Okay.
Can you see your output?
Yeah, it's 90s.
Method is coming from where? B class.
B class.
But variable is coming from
A
A
class.
class. So idea is very simple. Only method can be overridden, not the variable.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see that part later. Don't worry. But currently I told you this one. So that's all.